All right, time for another little update. Not too much this time since I ran into a little bit of a problem, but um, I did have a suggestion from somebody that had mentioned Brian Pearson. I can't remember the rest of his username, but he had suggested for those that may just be checking this out for the first time or not following or not have been following along since the beginning. He's like, hey, it might be good to know, just kind of the story of what's going on. So real quick before I do that, WH Pony 96, you were the one that had suggested about moving the relay to the back, and also had mentioned about the inline. He also in this last one had mentioned an inline fuse, which is a good idea since the wire is being run through the body of the car, that it might flip the relay at the back in the back seat like I showed you last time, but with that wire running all the way is still hot all the way and could ground itself out, or if it got near the body, could, like I said, ground out and start a fire or something like that. So he had suggested putting an inline fuse in there. So I went ahead and did that. Pretty good. That was a good idea. I hadn't thought about that. You can kind of see right there. So that should pop if it something does happen and kicks the relay and then starts to ground itself out or something like that. That'll obviously kill it right at the battery. So that wire running, that 4-gauge wire running through the body there won't have power going through it and won't have that issue. But what I had found out about what was causing the fuel leakage before was just my fault. I wasn't paying super close attention when I ordered the quick disconnect, and I had never really shown it, I guess, before, but it was on there. But this is the quick disconnect that I had got that is pretty cool, for the fuel line. But one thing I hadn't paid attention for is when I was ordering it, not noticing that it was a different style end than the AN lines, which is what I'm using, which should have been like this style with the tapered or beveled end on it, whatever you want to call it there, that side. So that, and then I guess I didn't know what these were called, but I had to do some research and looking up. But just straight ones like this are called ORDs because they're meant to have an O-ring on it. So that is the style that would, which is like what this is, going into the fuel rail with an O-ring on it and keeps it sealed. But that is why it was leaking so much from my hose there, because this is an AN line and meant to have that beveled edge on it to seal it up nice and tight. And since I didn't have that, of course, it wasn't sealing and it was squirting all over the place. So that is what was causing the issue. And so I emailed the vendor for these and asked if they have ones that are the AN style connectors on the end of it here. And just in case they don't, or if they're on back order, or like these I had to wait 6 weeks for because they were just ramping up production of these because these were something new for them. I can't wait that long. So I did find that Four, that makes the fuel pumps, does have a converter for that. To basically goes a female end goes on here to a male end going in to the AN line. So I have those ordered from Four and are coming. So hopefully they will be here and I can get that taken care of and get everything tested as far as that goes, and hopefully get her started once that's in and I got that good. Let the tuner that's helping me know, and hopefully we can get things fired up. So that was what I discovered this week. So we're kind of on hold until I get those pieces in. So quick rundown with that. Now, for those that may be a little bit newer or haven't been following since the beginning, this is, excuse me, this is a 2007 Foose Mustang. As we can see here, it's kind of covered up. Does have the Foose VIN plate. This is a Foose car. So this is a 2007 Foose Mustang. There were about 221 of these made in 2007. They're all serialized by the plate. And there were about 56-ish made in 2006. So they only made them for 2 years. So there's about 275, give or take, in existence. So that is what the base car is. And I stripped it all the way down. I had bought it. I lived a little bit of a hard life when I bought it. It wasn't treated super nice. And so I bought it and I stripped it all the way down. Took the engine, transmission, wiring, the dash, the rear end, literally everything out of it. And then I bought a wrecked 2014 GT500 that was in a rollover accident. That was a track pack car. And because I was looking for very specific 2014 GT500, I was looking for a track pack one. So I bought that. And basically I gutted that because it wasn't really, there wasn't nothing left of it as far as, the body had been crushed in the rollover. But the engine and the transmission and the wiring and everything like that was good. So basically I took all of that and transplanted it into this. So like I said, the engine, the transmission, the wiring, the dash, the rear end, all of it got moved over to this. So basically the only things that are left of the Foose car is, like I said, the Foose plate. It does have the Foose seats in there. The rear seats are still that. The front headlights, he did something different with the headlights. The hood, which is off being painted right now, does have his design and stuff on the hood. A couple of little touches inside the car, and then the front bumper, which is also having some touch-up paint done on it, and then the rear fascia or the rear bumper and stuff like that and stuff was from him. So kind of left all the outside pieces of it, you could say, as the Foose design. But the under the hood pieces, the computer, like I said, the transmission, wiring harness, dash, all of that has been moved over to a GT500. And then the engine, everything has also been strengthened. The rear end, I put the rear end, I had a local fabricator weld up the tubes and strengthen the rear end. RPM transmissions, strengthen the transmission. It is a 6-speed TR6060. That was strengthened to hold the extra horsepower. It's got a triple disc clutch in it. I won't list everything off because that's too much to list off, but basically everything has been strengthened. It's got a VMP supercharger on it. The heads have been ported. It's got stainless steel headers and exhaust all the way back. It has been sleeved, slightly bored over, so technically it's a 5.9 liter instead of a 5.8. But it's got forged pistons, rods. Like I said, the heads have been ported. The intake has been ported. It does also, like I said, I mentioned forged pistons, rods, custom cams in it. Trying to think. Yeah, basically everything. Like I said, if anybody's curious, I can give you a list. I have all of it detailed as to what it is, but off the top of my head, yeah, everything has been touched and has been strengthened in some way to hold the additional horsepower. Oh, and it has an aftermarket radiator and all that in it. So that is what this is. I don't really care for the one-of-one type thing. I think that's a little bit overused. I call this a what-if car. What if Foose had made a GT500? Like I said, because it's got his styling, but the power and everything of a GT500 underneath of it. Oh, it had the custom wide body kit put on it, which I've mentioned to you guys several times. But yeah, for you new, it does have a custom wide body kit on it. So the rear has been, instead of just bolt-on flares, that was all custom done, so it mimics factory. And the front also had it done a little bit, but the gentleman that did not do a good job and messed it up. So a friend of mine who's got a body shop is fixing the front flares, so they will be correct now. And he's also the one painting the hood and the front bumper, or touching it up a little bit. So hopefully that kind of gives you a quick backstory on it. And for those that may be checking it out for the first time, there you go. That's a little bit of a history on the system. When we talked about the fuel pumps, it does have a triple pump fuel hat and triple pump system in it, and it switched over to a return style fuel system. But so that's kind of just a quick overview. I don't want to drag it out too long with that, but like I said, if anybody had any questions about that or wanted more detail, you know, I can ask, you can ask in the comments, and I can post it there, or I can message you with the exact specs of everything, because I have everything detailed. So, but thanks for watching. I don't make this too long, but like I said, just wanted to let you know about what I found out about that, and what's going on with the fuel leak, that inline, and then, like I said, the suggestion of those that may be new, just kind of giving a quick overview of what the car is. So again, thanks for watching. Bye.